Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Yes Network, the home of champions.
Dangerous pitch here. 3-1. Alex Rodriguez, bases loaded. Judge, center field. Going back, throw, track, wall. See ya! A grand slam for Alex Rodriguez. And the Yankees have broken it open.
And they never learn indeed. Alex Rodriguez with a big day. Yankees hoping for more of the same on this Tuesday evening. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the defending world champion New York Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees did what they had to do against the Indians. They took 3 out of 4, and really they should have taken all 4, but they blew a 10-4 lead on Saturday. But they bounced back nicely, and yesterday it was about Alex Rodriguez. Let's take a look at what he did. He hit his 20th career grand slam, and now he's 1 behind Manny Ramirez and 3 behind Lou Gehrig all-time. 13th career game with 6 or more RBIs. That's the most in the Major League since 1960, and 41 ribbies this season. That leaves the Yankees. It's tied for 4th in the American League. How did he do all of that, Kenny?
Well, he made it look superstar easy. Alex Rodriguez with the easy stroke yesterday afternoon. Line drive single's going to drive it and run in the first inning. If you notice that all of these hits are either to the opposite field or back through the middle, this is the grand slam. Alex told me he thought it wasn't going to get out. He thought the wind was blowing in and might keep it in the stadium, but it was a grand slam for A-Rod. A little later on, a double to the gap in right center field. All these balls not pulled. Looked like the Indians trying to keep the ball out over the plate, and he went with it.
The heading on this should be, don't do it. Don't walk Mark Teixeira intentionally to pitch to A-Rod. Check out what he's done when these two have played together with the Yankees. 7 times it's been done. 5 for 5. 3 of them grand slams. 18 ribbies, a walk, and a sac fly. Don't do it. Also, in May, you shouldn't be pitching much to Nick Swisher. He was unbelievable. And his teammate, Robinson Cano, he was great as well. We'll go over May and hear from the Yankee manager, Joe Girardi, next. First 2 months of the season, here's how it broke down for the Yankees. 15-7 in April, 16-13 in May. Run per game about the same. The average better in May. Home runs better in May, although many more games. And the big difference in May, the pitching was not as good as it was in April. But you've seen the numbers. You've heard me talk about it. Now, let's get a review from the manager of the Yankees, Joe Girardi.
I'd love to have had a better record in the month of May. But our guys... 29 games in 31 days, some split doubleheaders, some suspended games, and we went through a lot. We went through some injuries, and I thought our guys just kept going at it, and I'm proud of them for that.
And yesterday you were asked to recap May. I want to ask you today, if I can, to look at June, and 9 in a row.
June's been great.
You're undefeated. 9 in a row in the division, and then a bunch, obviously, of National League. How do you look at a month like this one upcoming?
Well, you look at it, these games are extremely important in your division. It's important to keep winning series and playing at a high level.
And, of course, that follow-up question you heard from our very own Kim Jones. Let's look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Brian Mattis is going to go for the O's. He's 2-5, 5.76. Javier Vasquez will try to bounce back from a tough start, 3-5 with a 6.86 ERA. Well, by now, you're trained to know that lineups, first pitch, baseball coming up next right here on Yes. In the field, Javier Vasquez will take his warm-ups. Crowd still filing in. Let's take a look at tonight's Orioles starting lineup, which is presented by Lexus. Corey Patterson, the left fielder, will lead off. Batting second and playing third base, Miguel Tejada. Nick Markakis at right. Ty Wigginton, the first baseman, will clean up. Batting fifth and DHing Luke Scott. Matt Wieters is the catcher, bat sixth. The number 7 hitter, center fielder Adam Jones. Julio Lugo at second base will hit eighth. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, Cesar Izturis.
Javier Vasquez on the mound for the Yankees tonight. His record on the season, as you check out the numbers, well, he's trying to improve on them. He's gotten off to a 3-5 start with an ERA of 6.86, 46 hits in 42 innings. Opponents batting .287 against them. Let's check out the scouting report on Javier Vasquez. And it goes this way. He's been a durable performer during his career. He has never, ever been on the disabled list. But he's going to have to hold down the likes of Corey Patterson, Nick Markakis, and Luke Scott. They are left-handed batters, and lefties are hitting .321 against him. And he has a strikeout streak going. 328 consecutive starts with at least one strikeout. That is the best for any active pitcher in the major leagues.
Well, Vasquez is ready. Corey Patterson digs in. Crowd settling into its seats. And let's do it here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The first pitch is a strike, and we are underway. See what Patterson has done. And that one is fouled away. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 76 degrees, humidity is high. The wind's out of the west-northwest at 8 miles per hour, and the forecast is for possible thunderstorms. That's not good. That doesn't help anybody.
And no delays, please.
The 0-2.
The Orioles actually signed Patterson as a minor league free agent in April 21st to be exact. With the absence of Brian Roberts in the leadoff spot, the Orioles really didn't have anybody else who could lead off. So they signed Patterson, who had some experience doing that with the Chicago Cubs, and earlier in his first stint with the Orioles was a leadoff hitter. So he has taken over that role and responsibility.
And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Patterson down on strikes. Well, he didn't really need much defense with the strikeout, but let's head over to the Yankees defense, brought to you by Mercedes. Russo, Granderson, and Swisher left to right in the outfield. Gardner, just a day off. He's been playing every day. Infield, A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. That's third to first. Cervelli behind the plate. And Javi Vasquez is on the mound.
And right away, he takes care of that strikeout streak. Now 329 consecutive starts with at least one strikeout.
And here is Miguel Tejada. Slumping of late, 18 for his last 92. So making the transition over to third. Was a long-time shortstop for the Orioles and then the Houston Astros. Signed here as a free agent, knew he'd be playing third, and he struggles there just a bit. Not making as many errors as he did early, but still not a proficient third baseman. He pops that one up. Cervelli is there, and it's 2 away. So Vasquez, who struggled in his last start against the Twins, really didn't pitch well at all. He's got to be aggressive against this Orioles team. It's not a great hitting team. It's not a great team overall. Orioles come in at 15-36 on the season.
Yeah, they've lost 5 in a row coming into tonight, and they only scored 3 runs over the weekend in Toronto.
And Toronto continues to surprise. Ooh. Hitting well and getting pretty good pitching from young pitchers.
Let's put it this way. The Blue Jays hit 9 home runs over the weekend against Baltimore, and the Orioles didn't hit 1. Dave Tremblay, the manager, under fire, to say the least. A lot of speculation in the Baltimore press and on the radio shows and talk shows that he might be leaving soon, although there's been no indication from management that that's going to be the case.
It's never a good sign, Kenny, when your winning percentage keeps dropping.
Yeah.
He took over in 07, 430 winning percentage. In 08, it was 422. Last year, 395. And at 15-36 is at 294. That's his resume. The 1-2. Missed outside. He's a very, very nice man, and he doesn't have a great team, but it's better than this.
Yeah, they got out of the gate 2-16. I mean, they only won 2 of their first 18 games, and then spelled trouble.
Right in on the hands, and he fights it off into the seats.
So what did you say? 15-30. So 21 games under 500. Now I know that last year it took till August the 10th for them to get 20 games under 500.
Well, only 3 times in their history. This is the 3rd time in their history had they been 21 over this early in the season.
21 under.
21 under, yes. There's a ground ball to second. Cano is there. And a 12-pitch, 1-2-3 inning for Javier Vasquez as he retires the O's in order. Orioles nothing. The Yankees coming to bat. Off, batting second and playing right field, Nick Swisher. Mark Teixeira's at first base, he'll hit third. Cleaning up, playing third base, 6 ribbies last night, Alex Rodriguez. Batting fifth and playing second base, Robinson Cano. Marcus Timms, the DH, at sixth. Batting seventh and catching, Francisco Cervelli. Curtis.
Number 1 draft pick. And these are his numbers this year. 10 starts, 2 and 5, 5.76. Certainly more than a hit per inning. Opponents hitting .311 against him. Let's check out the scouting report on the young left-hander. And this is what has happened to him this year. May days. 0-4 with a no decision in the month of May. He's glad that that month is over. And twice he's been burned by Burnett. Twice he's pitched against the Yankees, lost both games. Both times A.J. Burnett was the opposing starter. A.J. was brilliant in both of those games. 15 in the third innings, allowed just 1 unearned run, and Mattis came up a loser twice.
Last couple of games, Derek Jeter has jumped on the first pitch that he's seen, and it's worked out for him. He has been red hot of late, an 8-game hitting streak. Average again over 300. And he takes that first pitch and takes it low.
Mattis has struggled early in his last 2 starts. Each one of them he gave up 4 runs in the first inning.
1-0. 2-0. Jeter 9 hits in his last 17 at bats, 17 for his last 35. And in the last 9 days, his average has jumped from 267 to 302. There's a strike. Yankee offense has struggled with all the injuries, but against the Indians, they're 1 through 5 batters, the big money guys. Hit .450, 5 home runs, and 29 runs batted in.
The big money guys.
The big money guys. The 2-1. Grounded to short is Torres. And there's one away. Let's take a look at the Orioles defense, which is brought to you by Mercedes. Patterson, Jones, Marquez left to right in the outfield. Infield, Tejada, 1 error in his last 31 games. He made 5 before that. There's Torres at short, Lugo at second. Wigginton is at first. Wieters behind the plate. Brian Mattis is on the mound. Well, Nick Swisher did not want May to end. He was just tremendous in May. He had 9 hits in his last 18 at bats, 12 for his last 27, average up to 317. And his first at bat in June, he grounds out to short. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes.
Yeah, Swisher had, 34 hits in May. That's the type of month you don't want them. You're right. That's more than a hit advance. Yep.
Here's Mark Teixeira. Better May than he had in a month in April, but still not up to his expectations. Mark, 10 for his last 29, though, so that's better than 333 over a decent stretch.
I had a chance to talk to Dave Tremblay in his office before the game, and we were talking about tonight's young pitcher, Brian Mattis, who, as we mentioned, had struggled during the month of May, and he said he's got to get that fastball in on the hands of the right-handed hitters. And it pitched just like you saw there, but that was a ball. So his 2-seamer would work better going down and away, and his changeup would work going away as well. But lately he's been getting that pitch, the fastball, towards the middle of the plate and not in enough.
Off the foot of Teixeira.
And he's, with so many young players on their team, I think they realize there's going to be ups and downs. Oh, man, that never feels good.
Just missed that guard and hit the side of the foot.
It's like dropping a brick on your foot or cinder block or something.
Month of April, 2-1, 4.40. Month of May, 0-4, 7.50. Tomahawked that, and he popped it foul into the seats.
That was his first curveball. And Mattis has a fastball curve, 2 fastballs, a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer, changeup, and a little cutter. Former #1 pick, as I mentioned. The Orioles think this young man's going to be quite a pitcher, but with young pitchers, he's only 23 years old, and he's going to have his ups and downs.
He's got a piece to stay alive. Well, he's having his downs right now. He has given up at least 6 runs on 3 of his last 4 starts.
Yeah.
Yankees have seen the good Mattis, though. In 3 starts, 1 and 2, but a 2.37 ERA. He's usually been outpitched. Not that he pitched poorly, he's just been outpitched on those days. 2.37 in this lineup is pretty good. 2-2. Trying to command that inside corner. And I guess that clipped him, and he's going to take first.
Well, as manager said, you got to get the ball in, and this one was in a little too far. And let's see where it gets to Sherritt. Looked like maybe on the right leg.
Probably the blousy part of the back leg.
Well, it seemed to me that the Yankee hitters get hit more than any other team. I mean, they've been hit 27 times now.
Derek Jeter got hit in the hamstring yesterday, had to leave the game early. Here's Alex Rodriguez. You look at Alex's numbers and you say, well, that's, Alex is usually doing better than that, especially home run wise. But 41 ribbies equates to about 125, 128 runs batted in if you prorate it over the course of the season. That's a pretty good year. Kenny mentioned that it seems the Yankees get hit by a lot of pitches. Well, they're first being hit by pitch. No team hit more.
I think that's because the teams realize if you don't get it in there, you might not get it back.
Count 1-2.
And talking to Alex before the game, he was telling me he didn't think the ball was going out yesterday. He said he thought he hit it pretty well, but he thought there was a wind blowing in. Well, he turned Mother Nature around yesterday.
Ground ball is short. So all 3 assists given to Cesar Esteuras. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left on base. We played 1 at the stadium. There's no score. Orioles, Yankees on yes. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Acura Advance, by Heineken, give yourself a good name, and by Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the New York Yankees. Slow arriving crowd here at the stadium. I wonder if the accident on the George Washington Bridge had anything to do with it. It was backed up 4 hours, I heard, the traffic. Yeah, it was really, really bad. So the seats in the stadium are sold, but there's some pockets where people have not arrived. Maybe the rain keeping them away for a while. Could be the GW as well. Ty Wigginton swings at the first pitch and grounds it to Alex Rodriguez. One pitch, one out. This could be the right tonic for Javier Vasquez. He had that terrible start against the Twins. After having pitched well against the Mets and the Tigers in that one inning or that one batter faced against the Red Sox when he struck out Euclid. But the Orioles have played 51 games, and 26 times in those 51 games, so more than 50% of the opposing starter has pitched at least 7 innings.
That's amazing.
Here's Luke Scott, 1 hit in his last 9 at-bats. And there's a strike.
Yeah, they just don't score. I think they've had, with 51 games, in 31 of those games they scored 3 runs or less. So that's how the opposing pitcher stays in there. Luke Scott's been one of the hitters that's come on of late. After getting off to a slow start, Luke has kind of turned it on lately.
Well, the Oriole offense needs it. They are last in the American League in runs scored with 175. Off-speed pitch. 2-2.
Vasquez, he can trick you. He can blow it by you. He's got a good breaking ball. Mechanical problems at the beginning of the year was supposedly making push the ball to the plate, making pitchers stay up in the zone.
Grounder up the middle. Jeter spears it, does a 360, fires, got it. Good play by the Yankee captain.
Well, Jeter making this play on the outfield grass, and so far the Orioles have not gotten the ball to the outfield. Nice play with the 360 and the throw to get Scott by a couple of steps. Looked like when the ball was hit, it was headed towards center field, but Derek had other ideas and makes a nice play as he throws out Luke Scott for out number 2. Here's another look. Now here comes the hard part. Straightening up, speeding, turning, and then making the accurate throw.
There was a strike to Matt Wieters. Wieters hitless in his last 7 at-bats. 24-year-old catcher. If the Orioles are going to be good, he has to live up to his expectations, which are very, very high.
Yeah, I think that's been one of the problems for the Orioles, young players in general. They haven't really progressed as much as they would have liked. Wieters is one of them, hitting just 250, 4 home runs and 16 runs batted in. Adam Jones on deck falls into the same category. I mean, even Markakis, who's had a couple of years where he's driven in 100 runs, he's not really putting it together as well. So I wouldn't say they overestimated what these guys can do, but this is the big leagues. This is the toughest league there is. It was a good breaking ball for a call strike.
Two to Wieters. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Vasquez. He's retired 6 in a row. This time on 11 pitches. We go to the bottom of the second. There's no score on Yes. Schedule brought to you by Acela Express. Enjoy the journey. 2 more games against the Orioles here at home tomorrow night and then Thursday afternoon. Then on to Toronto to play the surprising Blue Jays Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. Monday is an off day. And then against the Orioles again, this time at Camden Yards. 3 night games, 1 on My 9, 2 on Yes, and then back home. Interleague starts again with 3 against the Houston Astros. You like the Acela Express, Kenny?
You know what? I was on it this morning. I think, Michael, I don't know if you agree with me, that's the best way to get up and down the Northeast Corridor.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Here is Robinson Cano. 14-game hitting streak and 6 straight with multiple hits. Takes a first pitch strike. He had a phenomenal series against the Indians. Everything he hit was right on the screws, hitting .363, which is good for second in the American League.
Leads the American League in hits with 73. Mattis on the mound has only given up 1 home run to a left-handed hitter this year. And he's at the plate right now. And that came at the series at Camden Yards earlier this year.
Only Justin Morneau has a higher average than Robbie at .377. Well, he was the player of the month in April. He's the reigning American League Player of the Week. And we told you about that 14-game hitting streak, .450 average, 10 extra base hits, 17 runs batted in. He is certainly making a claim right now to be considered in the MVP race. Still 2 months in, but if he's anything close to this, he's going to be talked about in that way as he strikes out against Mattis.
Pretty good fastball right there from Mattis to strike out Cano. And so far in the early going of this game, he showed pretty good control of his fastball. That's the one he has to get into the right-handed hitters. In this case, it's away from the left-handed hitter. And the follow through and the swing and a miss.
Marcus Timms grounds one to short. As Troy's getting a workout, that's his 4th ground ball and his 4th assist, 2 away.
I was talking to Timms before the game about that injury he had, Michael, when he stepped on his back. And he said the only reason it wasn't worse is because he tapes his ankles before every game. And that was the case when he had that fluke play where he threw his bat away and stepped on it running down the first baseline, and he said his ankle feels pretty good.
Now, the reason he tapes the ankles is he's had ankle problems in the past, so he tapes it tightly. Here's Francisco Cervelli. And the count 1-0.
Now, you think of taping ankles as more of a basketball or football thing.
You didn't tape yours, right?
Not to play baseball, basketball I did.
You tape them now, people don't realize that's a broadcast.
No, right now, there's nothing going to happen to my ankles.
Count 2-0.
Actually, I tape them before I get on the Acela.
Perfect. Sudden stops, no problem. The 2-0. There's a strike. 2-1. 2-1. High fly ball left field, but foul. Cervelli has really played most of the time since Posada's out. He's caught every game but 2 since Posada's been on the DL. Those 2 caught by Moeller. So I know he's 23 years old, but that's a big load for him to handle. He's done a good job.
He's averaged over 300. And Cervelli, when you look at what he did last year, he's a lifetime 300 hitter in the big leagues.
3-2. And he works a lot. A lot of patience for a 23-year-old. Will take his walks, take pitches.
read that note in the paper today about Curtis Granderson, Maniac, what he said about him?
No.
He said that before the series even started against Cleveland, the number that he got was 199 that Curtis has hit against left-handers over the last 3 years. That was a big number that he got on Curtis Granderson. Granderson got several hits during the series that actually set up big innings for the Yankees against left-handers to keep the inning going. You know, maybe not the decisive hit in the inning, but it kept the inning going against left-handers, including yesterday.
And there might be a story behind even that number and the fact that he did well against the Indians. When he was on the DL, he walked up to the Yankee batting coach, Kevin Long, and said, I want you to pitch batting practice to me all the time, because Kevin Long's left-handed.
That's right.
And Kevin Long made sure to put him in every single group that he was pitching to. So he constantly faces left-handed pitching in batting practice, and you get a better feel for it.
There's K. Long.
He's Koufax like when he pitches BP.
The game's going to look easy then.
Yep. Not that time, as Mattis strikes out Granderson. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the third. Yankees and the Orioles are scoreless. At the stadium, and on the Dodge scoreboard there's a lot of zeros. Both pitchers have done well over the first two innings. Vasquez has retired all 6 O's that he's faced. Now the bottom third of the order, Adam Jones, Julio Lugo, and Cesar Esteuras. So Jones will dig in. 1 hit in his last 10 at bats, certainly nothing like the season he had last year when he made the All-Star game, and I don't think that's going to happen this year. They thought they had corrected the long swing and had him shorter to the ball, but it seems like he's reverting back to some of the bad habits he had on the field in Seattle.
I think that, you know, when you have success as a young player, I think a lot of these young hitters do not know themselves as hitters as of yet. Of course, you like it when you're hitting well and you want to keep hitting. So when you're not getting hits, then all of a sudden you start to go back to your bad habits. And his bad habit against right-handers is chasing the breaking ball out of the strike zone. Jones has a quick bat. In the absence of Roberts, they tried him in the leadoff spot. I'm speaking of Adam Jones, but he only has 5 walks on the year, and his on-base percentage is under 30%. So that he wasn't a good choice as a leadoff hitter.
Count 2-2. It does tell you everything that Brian Roberts means to this team. You take him out of the equation and everything else falls apart because the lineup falls into shape behind Brian Roberts leading off.
Well, the good news is for Baltimore and their fans is that Roberts has finally gotten down to Florida and beginning his rehab on the injured back.
Last year at this point, Kenny, Jones was hitting .344 with 11 homers and 36 ribbies.
Wow.
And now .251, 5 and 15. 2-2. Punts the other way and a base hit. Nick Swisher will get the ball in quickly. And the first base runner for the Orioles. Speaking of the Orioles, it's time for the Toyota text poll. Tonight's question is, among these Hall of Fame Oriole teammates of Ken Singleton, whom did you like the best? You can text your vote to 58772, and you know that standard text messaging rates apply. Let's see.
I'm not going to vote on this one.
Well, you can vote quietly. You don't have to. Eddie Murray, I think I know the answer. 1. Number 2 is Jim Palmer. 3, Cal Ripken Jr. 4, Brooks Robinson. I mean, I know Kenny well enough. It's Eddie Murray. You like the other guys, but you love Eddie Murray.
Well, the guy was my protection for 8 years in the batting order.
I mean, you've told me off the air that Ripken was lazy, never wanted to play.
Never wanted to be in the lineup.
Never wanted. Always looking to get out of the lineup. Well, we'll find out how you're voting a little bit later on.
And Brooksy, after his career, moved to Fort Knox, Kentucky. All those Gold Gloves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did he really move to Fort Knox, Kentucky?
No. I mean
that would have been great, the 0-1. Now, speaking of Kenny as an Oriole, 284 lifetime average. And check this, before it became the cool thing to do, Ken Singleton in his career as an Oriole had a .388 on-base percentage.
That's why they led me off one year, which was I'd never done before.
I got a buddy of mine in California that's really into sabermetrics, and he insists that you should be in the Hall of Fame.
I appreciate the sentiment, but that's not the case. The Hall of Fame.
Nice play.
Nice play by Teixeira. The Hall of Fame is for the great players who, when they come on the field every day, the other team knows they can affect the game every single day. Now, I knew I was a good player, but I wasn't one of those players. And you have your streaks where you're playing really well and you might look like you're a potential Hall of Fame player, but that's not the case.
The numbers are pretty impressive.
No, thank you.
Well, more importantly, you're a Hall of Fame person. That's true.
My dad always told me it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice.
The 2-1 runner goes. Grounded up the middle. Jeter was covering perfectly. 6-6-3 double play. They ran themselves into a double play because Jeter was right where the ball ended up.
Well, the Orioles are among the team that with the least stolen bases in the league, but they had the runner going, trying to make something happen in the early going in this series. But Lugo hits the ball right where Derek Jeter is standing, and it's an easy double play. So with Jones covering, with Jones running, Jeter is covering. Usually it's the second baseman who might cover.
Here's Cesar Estouris. Shows bunt, takes a strike.
So who's this buddy of yours, I should think?
His name is Phil. He's a big Yankee fan, watches every game in California. He's actually from the New York area, but he's a comedy writer out in Hollywood. But that's serious stuff. That's drama he's talking about. Mount Vernon's own Ken Singleton.
There's only one guy from Mount Vernon really in the drama. That's Denzel.
There's a line drive right at Jeter, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. A 12-pitch inning for Javi Vasquez. 35 in 3 innings, no score. No score, Yankees and the Orioles. And it's time for us to check in with our very own Kim Jones. The Dodge scoreboard shows no score, but Kim Jones has a lot of information on Jorge Posada. Kim, please disseminate that information.
Absolutely, Michael. Jorge eligible to come off the DL today. He did not, and he's not happy about it, although it is nearly certain he will be back tomorrow as the DH. Jorge said, I want to be in the lineup. This has been tough. I'd be happy if it was today. Joe Girardi's line of thinking was this. He said, Jorge looks good swinging the bat. He wanted to see him run today. Jorge's response? I ran yesterday. He also said he had just gotten off the treadmill today, but Joe is being cautious. If you talk to the Yankees in the clubhouse, they know to expect their manager to be cautious, often giving them an extra day just to be sure. Jorge said that he didn't argue with the manager. He said, why would I argue? And then he smiled, rolled his eyes, and said, okay, see you tomorrow, and I suspect tomorrow it'll be a happier Posada.
It sounds like he was a little chap. Was he upset?
A little bit, a lot like Andy, when Andy's start was skipped earlier, about a month ago or so, and Andy was not happy about it. He wanted to be out there. You know these guys, Michael. They're fiery. They're stubborn. They want to be on the field. As Jeter says, Jorge's not used to missing games, and it's no fun when you do. And frankly, Jeter's the same way. He doesn't like to sit out either.
Kevin Russo flies out to Markakis for the first out. Now, they're going to take some precaution with Jorge, especially around the foot, but not just the injured foot, right?
That's right. That's one thing Jorge was very pleased with. His shin guards with the flaps now have extra padding on the flaps, and I asked him if it was just the right foot. That's the one he had that hairline fracture, and he said, oh no, the left one too. I don't need to take another foul tip. So he is taking every precaution. As you know, Michael, it's been a rough couple of months for Jorge. That whole right leg of his has been beaten up already. And
I think that one thing that this injury has shown, Kim, is how valuable this guy is. Sometimes you don't remember or don't know what you have until you don't have it anymore. This guy lengthens the lineup, and all he does is put up big numbers.
Absolutely. In fact, I asked Mariano, I said, what's it been like without Jorge? And Mariano said, weird. He said, we definitely miss his presence, and we really miss his bat in the lineup, just as you said. And I asked Jeter, who, as you know, is so close to Jorge, I said, what's it like without him? He said, quiet. A lot more quiet, I'll tell you that.
Well, we don't want you to be quiet, Kim. We'll hear from you later on.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, that's Kim Jones. And that's not quiet. That's a loud line drive. Against the wall on the left field line, now it bounces into the seats. And Jeter gets himself a double. Yankees' first hit and a 9-game hitting streak for Derek Jeter.
Yeah, Jeter's been on fire, and the Yankees have really hit the ball well here in this ballpark. And with that double, he's now second all-time in doubles as he passes Bernie Williams on the all-time list.
And number one is Mr. Lou Gehrig.
Wow. Man, look at those names.
Any all-time Yankee list usually has pretty good names. You don't have Joe Schlabotnik on the list.
Joe who?
Joe Schlabotnik.
I remember him, yeah. Used to live down the street from me.
In Mount Vernon.
Yeah, right down the street. Over near Sanford Avenue.
Yeah, a lot of those guys have their numbers retired on the Yankee all-time list.
Should say Sanford Boulevard.
Here is Nick Swisher with a runner on second and one out. Yankees' first base hit against Mattis. And there's a strike. Swisher grounded to short. That was in the first. Hit .374 in May. 25 games in that month. 7 home runs and 25 runs batted in. Also scored 24 runs. Rick Pitino in the crowd. Louisville basketball. Their head coach. Probably recruiting here in New York. He's a New Yorker. The 0-2. 1-2.
Trying to think of who was a big-time basketball player on the Yankees. CeCe? CeCe was a pretty good basketball player, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. When Yankees on deck this week, CeCe was with Brooke Lopez of the Nets.
Oh, that's where I saw that. Did Swish try and go to the opposite field? Got a change-up or a two-seamer away? Looked like a change-up.
Most baseball players think they could have been great in other sports. I remember Don Mattingly used to always tell me, I could have played in the NBA. If I had pursued it, you're 5'11", I could have played in the NBA.
That's like all hitters think they can pitch and all pitchers think they can hit.
And all athletes think they can act and all actors think they can play. And those who can't teach. No, just kidding.
Wasn't it Derek Jeter who asked Spike Lee if he could be in one of his movies? And Spike said, "Why don't you go out there and act like a shortstop?"
Yep. The 2-2. Count 3-2.
You see how Mattis likes to work. The hard stuff in, slow stuff away. And by throwing the fastballs in, it speeds up the hitter's bats and makes them much more effective with the pitches away.
You know, one guy on the Yankees isn't on it anymore. Randy Wynn backed up Steve Nash at Santa Clara.
That's right.
Yeah. 3-2. That one is lofted to left field. Coming on Corey Patterson, and he makes the play. 2 outs.
Well, Corey Patterson's always been known for his ability to run, and he's going to run underneath this one. There's that soft stuff away. Swisher goes out to get it, kind of off the end of the bat. Tried to loop it in front of Patterson, but much too much speed as he makes a nice sliding catch for the second out of the inning. There's Jeter going halfway in case the ball falls in. I think, though, he would only been able to advance his 90 feet anyway, even if Patterson didn't come up with it.
And here's Mark Teixeira. Long home run number 8 against the Indians on Sunday, and that was his 250th home run of his career.
Got a chance to get to 500.
Yeah, he's done 250 in 8 major league seasons.
You know, there's only been 2 switch hitters who've gotten to 500, Mickey Mantle and the aforementioned Eddie Murray. Those are the only 2.
The 0-1.
Maybe Chipper Jones has a chance.
Rip foul. Chipper Jones with 429. I don't know if he's going to make it. He keeps talking about retiring at the end of this year or maybe next year at the latest.
Yeah, I've heard him mention that. He still had a great career.
Oh, he's a Hall of Famer for sure. I think he hit his first home run since early April the other day. I think he's at 2 or 3 for the year. Had a hard time staying healthy. He's at 3. Dribbled slowly, right side, Mattis off the mound, and Jeter's double is wasted as the Yankees can't bring him in. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left. We go to the 4th, there's no score. Line quiz. Here's the question. A-Rod hit 2 grand slams before the end of May. Now, who was the last Yankee to accomplish that feat? We'll find that out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Now, this is a little scary. Mark Teixeira is out of the game. Joe Girardi removes him and places Juan Miranda over at first base. I don't know if it was running down to first base. We'll look through what we have and see if we can see anything.
Maybe swinging the bat. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Here's Corey Patterson, and there's a strike. Patterson struck out in the 1st inning. Swing and a miss. Could it have been this, Kenny, when he fouled the ball off his foot earlier?
That's a possibility, too. Oh.
But that was not the last at bat. That was the first at bat in the 1st inning. So he stayed in the game after that. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Patterson chasing upstairs. Now, on the last out of the 3rd inning, this is Teixeira running down to first. Let's see if we see anything.
Let's take a look here. There's a little hitch in his get along. And that might be it. The Yankees might want to get an X-ray on that, or certainly get some ice on it and treat it. That last pitch from Vasquez to Corey Patterson was a perfect pitch. Get him try and chase a pitch out of the strike zone, and he did it. Put it up there in his eyes, and he swung at it. You know, if he doesn't swing at it, it's a perfect waste pitch. That's what they call a waste pitch. It wasn't wasted because he struck out. Here's a look. You know, he wants to get it. Savelli's got the target up there, and Patterson went up. Couldn't get on top of it.
Right back to Vasquez for the 2nd out.
Vasquez has been known as a good fielder. I believe in 8 of the last 9 seasons, he's gotten Gold Glove consideration. You need quick hands, not only to swing the bat, but to field your position when you're a pitcher. And that was about belt high right back to him, and Tejada out number 2.
Well, after watching what we saw with David Huff, it's so scary how quickly the ball gets back to you, and you're so close to the batter. Yeah, I feel the same way watching it. Here's Markakis. There's a strike. And the 0-1. 1-1. Yankees being shut down by Mattis, and really nothing unusual because when Vasquez is on the mound, they don't score many runs. 3.4 runs per game. Now, part of that could be he gets him out of the game early because he's been hit hard in some starts, and maybe that takes him out of the game. But those are the statistics, and he has the lowest run support of any Yankee starter.
Pitch count is good. We're in the 4th inning, only 43 pitches.
One, two. Strike 3. Markakis down looking. 9-pitch inning. He is working quickly, effectively, and economically. 4 strikeouts. He mows down the Orioles in order. We go to the bottom of the 4th. No score. the fourth inning. There is a no score. Alex Rodriguez will lead off, and in a moment we will tell you the answer to our New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. There's no score with A-Rod at the plate, leading off against Mattis. And the young lefty deals. Inside of 1-0. All-Star game in Anaheim this year. Alex has great at-bats at Angel Stadium. You know we'd love to go. Right now I believe that Evan Longoria is leading the voting at third. But Alex, with, I believe he's fourth in RBIs in the American League. He'd like to be a part of it. High fly ball. Left field. Corey Patterson is there, and there's one out. All right, let's check out the answer to that New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz question. The question was about A-Rod hitting 2 grand slams before the end of May. Now, who was the last Yankee to accomplish that feat? Well, this guy hit a lot of home runs. He doesn't do it anymore. Alfonso Soriano did it in 2003. His game seems to have taken a step backward since signing that big money contract with the Cubs.
The 1 year with the Yankees, he was going for 40-40, and he had quite a while to hit that 40th home run. Didn't quite get it.
Line drive, base hit. A 15-game hitting streak for Robinson Cano.
Cano is now 13 for his last 23. Smoking and not joking. Line drive into right center. Here we are in Yes Mo. It can't get any better than that. Head down, follow through, solid line drive. See the hip spin out. I mean, he's just got it going right now.
Marcus Timms skips rope. To Timms. Big healthy cut. 1-1. Sky looks a lot nicer than it did. It rained twice before the game began. Once at 3, once about 6:30. And you see the sun reflecting off those 2 flags, kind of a purplish hue.
Turned out to be a beautiful night.
Hope it holds up. There are thunderstorms in the forecast.
You see Ty Wigington at first base. Now he's primarily played second for the Orioles this year with the absence of Brian Roberts. And Wigington now at first. He's got 13 home runs on the year. He hasn't actually hit one as a first baseman. In fact, the Orioles do not have a home run by a first baseman this year. The only team in the major leagues that did not hit a home run.
Not hitting much at all. 222. But again, we told you the O's are last in the American League in runs scored.
But now with Lugo at second, and Wigington moves over to first. And Wigington's had himself a good year. I mean, there's Terry Crowley, the hitting coach, and a former teammate. I walked into where they were taking batting practice in the cage near the Oriole clubhouse as Tim strikes out, and Crowley looked at me. He said, "What'd you come in here for? To get one last look?" I said, "Crow, come on now."
Well, the king of swing is not fixing him so far this year. He's a very good hitting coach, though.
Been there 12 years. Been through 5 managers.
There's Francisco Cervelli. He walked in the second inning. Cano at first with 2 outs. Breaking ball's working for Mattis tonight. Dropping it in there for strikes. Given out to right center field. On the run is Jones, and he makes a nice running play. And hits into the wall in front of the Yankee bullpen. Boy, he got a great jump, full extension, and the ball settled into his glove for the final out of the 4th inning. No runs a hit, 1 man left. We played 4, still looking for a run. Thank you, Bob, and that's the Yankees' next opponent as they go on the road. Colin Powell. He is watching the game. He's from the Bronx, I think. I believe he's from the Bronx. And not just chilling in the Bronx.
I heard he spent a lot of time in Washington.
He did spend a lot of time in Washington. Colin Powell's a pivotal figure in American history.
Yeah, he is. Politically and militarily.
Yep. That one has popped up. We just looked up his status, and he was born in Harlem, so he's a New Yorker.
Not far from the Bronx.
Not far.
Here's our Home Depot scouting report on Luke Scott. And we told you he's starting to come on of late. His first 24 games, he had 177. His last 17, 371. So almost 200 points better. And last year, 25 home runs. It was the only Oriole that reached 20 home runs, and he hit a career high 25.
Grounded foul. Yankees with 2 hits. The Orioles with 1. Great play by Adam Jones to run down that drive off the bat of Francisco Cervelli.
Yeah, I thought that ball had gap written all over it, and Adam Jones ran underneath it. That's the type of play that earned him a Gold Glove last year.
Now Vasquez working so quickly, so economically. He only has 48 pitches, and we're 1 out into the 5th inning. Only one Oriole batter has seen more than 5 pitches in an at-bat tonight.
And so that tells you he's using his fastball, hitting his spots with it. He's got 4 strikeouts along the way.
And the 1-2. Fights it off and fouls it off.
Yeah, look where Cervelli had the glove, and look where the fastball went. And that's what I meant by spotting the fastball. You know, it's almost as if Cervelli just has to set the glove, and the ball's going to go right in the circle there, right to it. Good command of the fastball tonight. Sets up all the other pitches.
Change up. Rides outside. The count is now 2-2. Luke Scott grounded to short in the second. You look at the Orioles, and Camden Yards used to be filled every single day. Now, the Washington Nationals are playing decent baseball. Next Tuesday, they're going to start Steven Strasburg. The game's already sold out. And the Orioles are playing such poor baseball. I mean, they might be losing that area to the Nationals. I mean, they've got to turn this around in a hurry now. They've got the right guy in there doing it. Head of baseball operations, Andy McPhail, but it's a slow process and not showing any results so far this year. Luke Scott was hit by that pitch, so it wasn't a walk.
Well, the Nationals have Mike Rizzo running their team, and they're bringing up some good young players. And you talked about Strasburg coming up to pitch. He's going to pitch twice against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right.
These are his first 4 starts that they've lined up for him. Twice against the Pirates, once against Kansas City, and once against the Orioles at Camden Yards.
Wow.
So those are going to be his first 4 starts.
Well, at least the Orioles will get a sellout out of it.
I think they'll get a lot of people wearing Nats hats.
Yeah, they all have green money. Here's Matt Wieters.
It's sort of like when the Yankees show up, right?
Absolutely, and the Red Sox. Count 1-0.
I think from home plate to home plate, Camden Yards to the new stadium, Nationals Park, is 40 miles. So all those towns in between, like Columbia, Maryland, and Laurel, Maryland, all those cities, Bowie, Maryland, a lot of those fans, instead of coming north, are beginning to turn their appetite for baseball southward.
Grounded in the hole. Nice hop there for Cano. He makes the play for the second out as Luke Scott will move to second.
And what's funny about it, that both the teams share the same network. They're both on MASN, Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. And MASN 1 or MASN 2, you'll see either the Orioles or the Nationals.
And that was one of the reasons that Peter Angelos, the owner of the Orioles, gave the okay for the Nationals to invade his quote-unquote territory, because there was an agreement that they would be on MASN, which is owned by him.
Yeah, but the caveat was that the Orioles get most of the profits.
Right.
The Nationals do not share quite as equally as the Orioles do.
Here's Adam Jones. The Orioles have their first runner in scoring position today. Pitch outside.
This has been a tough spot for the Orioles all season long as a team. They have not hit well with runners in scoring position.
Look at that shot there with the pink sky behind the blue Yankee Stadium lettering, and then the brush strokes of light blue. Very aesthetically pleasing beyond left field. A beautiful night. Turned out to be a great night. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. The 2-0. 2-1. Luke's got it second. He was hit by a pitch. Moved to second on Matt Wieder's ground ball. The 2-1. Fastball high.
This is only the first time Baltimore's had a runner in scoring position. The Yankees have only had one, and that was Jeter's double.
Now 3-2. Fastball's been 90, maybe touch 91 every now and then. Plenty hard enough to get out, so we have location. Julio Lugo is on deck. Jones steps up. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Jacked it up to 91 miles an hour and struck him out. His fifth strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left. At the end of 4.5, we're halfway through. No score. Curtis Granderson will lead off the bottom of the fifth inning here at the stadium. No score. Brian Mattis deals. Outside. How about that? A rainbow over Yankee Stadium. Should I sing, Kenny, or leave it alone?
I think you should look for the pot of gold.
All right. That's my motto. Popped up and out of play.
I'll take it. I was going to say 10, but 20% fighter's fee.
All right. And the count 1-2. Yankees with 2 hits and the O's with 1. count 2-2. It'll be Granderson, Russo, and Jeter, 8, 9, and 1 in the Yankee order. The 2-2. Missed outside. 3-2.
Maybe just a hair low, too. So Granderson has fought his way to a 3-2 count leading off an inning. Let's see what the payoff is here.
And here is the payoff. Driven deep to right field. Markakis is back. He's on the track. See ya! A home run for Granderson. His third of the year, and it gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead. That's his first home run since April 7th, 81 at-bats ago.
Only the second home run that Mattis has given up to a left-handed batter this year. Both are Yankees. Granderson joins Robinson Cano as the only lefties a homer against Brian Mattis. Mattis has only given up 6 home runs this year, so he's done a pretty good job keeping the ball in the park.
Kevin Russo wraps one to third. Tejada field, sets, fires, got him. And there's one away.
Well, Michael, I think he beat us to the pot of gold.
It certainly had that parabolic rainbow effect. I guess all that BP against lefty slinging Kevin Long has helped him out. Kenny mentioned earlier a couple of big hits against lefties in the Indian series, and now against a pretty tough lefty, Brian Mattis. Now, last year, Granderson had 30 home runs with the Tigers, and only 2 of them were against left-handers. Let's take a look at the swing again, and this is the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
Yeah, 3-2 pitch right there, and Granderson was right on it. Off into the night. A souvenir.
Jeter takes a pitch outside, 2-0. That was also Granderson's first home run as a Yankee at the new stadium. Now remember, he was out for about a month.
He hit 2 in Boston.
Yep.
In the opening series of the season. And I think his first was his first at bat.
It was his first at bat. This moment in Yankees history brought to you by Johnny Walker. Demand greatness in every sip and every season. Johnny Walker, proud sponsor of the New York Yankees. So the present Yankee captain walks there with 1 out. And Yankee captain Lou Gehrig pinch hit for Pee Wee Waninger, I believe his name is pronounced, beginning his consecutive game streak back in 1925. And then Wally Pipp got a headache. And the rest is history. I wonder if, I think Wally Pipp was the next day. I wonder if that could be our Johnny Walker great moment tomorrow. Just wondering it out loud. I'm not quite sure.
The thought is there now.
Count 0-1.
Yeah, Swisher's got himself a hitting streak going. 6 consecutive games. Taking good swings. Now this is a good cut, but now you see that pitch is almost right down the middle. Now he leaves himself in a little bit of a hole. 0-2. Mattis is in the driver's seat. Probably knows he got away with one.
Pitch is high. Not number 1 yet, but they're closing in on Tampa Bay.
Some sort of team, isn't it? Team jerseys. the sluggers. It's a home run hitting team.
So they would dig in what Granderson did.
You know, it's getting to be that time of year when we see the camps come out. You know, see all the kids in the same colored T-shirts. Imagine being a camp counselor there. All you do is count all day. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I've only got 7.
1-2. Grounded softly to third. Across the diamond, the stretch by Wigginton, and they get Swisher for the second out as Jeter moves to second.
Looked like he had Swish out front on an off-speed pitch. Take a look. Yeah, breaking ball down and in. Might be breaking out of the strike zone. Swish hustling down the line. Nothing about Tejada. He's still got a strong arm. He can get the ball across the diamond.
That's going to bring up Juan Miranda, who took over in the 4th inning defensively for Mark Teixeira. Still waiting on word why Teixeira was removed. Swing and a miss. We have had no word at this point.
I don't think Miranda has had all that many at-bats against left-handed pitchers thus far.
Count 0-2.
Just 9 plate appearances in his career against lefties at the major league level. Now, one thing you have to remember, when he's playing in the minor leagues and at Scranton Wilkes-Barre, he's playing just about every day, so he gets to see left-handers down there.
1 for 4 so far this year. And we just get word that Mark Teixeira left tonight's game with a bruised left foot, so it was a foul ball off the foot that ended up getting him. They took x-rays, and the x-rays were negative.
That's good.
Popped up. Tejada called off by Astores, and Astores makes the catch for the final out of the inning. But the Yankees get a run. First run of the game, Curtis Granderson, 3-2. Payoff pitch, and it pays off with a home run, a solo shot. Yankees lead 1-0. down with the skipper on an all-new WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show. Joe recaps this week's important AL East matchups with the Orioles and the Blue Jays and gives an update on the latest injury status. The Joe Girardi Show, all new Sunday at 5 only on Yes. Look at how economical Javier Vasquez has been. And he's leading 1-0 as we go to the 6th. Pitch to Julio Lugo. What, does that guy look like Sparky Lyle or what?
The only reason that it might not be him because he's eating his ice cream right-handed. Sparky's a left-hander.
He looks just like Sparky
he
Lyle.
does.
Count 1-1.
Slider, 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 slider. Sparky Lyle. Every pitch, slider. Good off-speed pitch. Vasquez has it all working so far. He's done a pretty good job keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate. Nice little slider right there. Oh, I called it. Sparky Lyle have been proud of that one.
Sparky was a big screwball guy too, right?
He was funny.
Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. Now Cervelli's getting an angle and fires to first. 6th strikeout for Vasquez, and the putout is 2-3. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Blimpie, America's Sub Shop, by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer, and by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. Doing brisk business at one of the Yankees team stores, or the women's team store. Bunt it up the third baseline, but they want to grab it before it kicks back there, and Cervelli does just that.
Cervelli, Cisco Kid, hustling down the line. Some kind of enthusiasm with that young man. You know, a few weeks ago we were doing a game, Michael, and we talked about the Cisco Kid, and a gentleman, Felix R. DeVito from Brewster, New York, sent me this poster. Duncan Ronaldo played the Cisco Kid, and he kind of looks like Cervelli.
A little bit.
Yeah. Those fans, they don't miss a beat.
There's the Francisco Kid.
Yeah. The modern version.
One away here in the 6th. Foul back. The 1-2. Right back to Vasquez. 2 outs. Hey, think about it. Just one hit. That's how good he's been. And he hit a batter. He also just had one fly ball. It's an outstanding performance by Vasquez.
So far tonight, he's kind of gone up the ladder with Corey Patterson. And what I mean by that, he's got some strikes on him, then throwing up around his letters a little above, and he's chased it. When Patterson first came up, he was with the Cubs organization, and one of the managers in the Cubs organization was Dave Tremblay. And Patterson really didn't know what type of hitter he's more patient now this time around with the Orioles, and that's why they've installed him in the leadoff spot. He's walked a few more times. But when he first came up with the Cubs, you really didn't know what type of hitter he was. He thought he was a home run hitter.
The Cubs were disappointed. They thought he was going to be the goods. There's a strike, 1-2.
Nice off-speed pitch. Now let's see if he goes up the ladder again. It's worked a couple of times. We mentioned that a lot of his pitches are working tonight. Change up. Well, that was borderline, but he got the call. Now, this might be the fastball up around the neck. In the middle of the. Now they're going away again.
That one's drilled to right field. Fair ball. It's a tie game. It's a tie game. A solo shot into the second deck. First big mistake by Vasquez. 1-1.
Corey Patterson got a fastball out over the plate. See how much Vasquez misses the target. Not bad. It was. I think if he had thrown one more up, Patterson might have chased it. Tried to sneak a fastball by him on the outer half, and Patterson hooked it into the seats.
Pitch to Tejada as a strike.
Now look at the setup here. He's shaking off again. So he shook off a couple pitches. Now Cervelli says, "Give me a good pitch then," and it wasn't good.
So 1-1 game.
We saw a little fist pump by Cervelli. Says, "All right, you got what you want. Give me a good one."
And Kenny, that's why it's important that they're on the same page, that there isn't shaking off, because even though Vasquez gets his way, when he's delivering that pitch, he's thinking, wow, was he right and I wrong? So you're not throwing it with the same conviction. You want the catcher to think along with you.
Yeah, you want that first sign. Oh, that's what I want. Let's go. No, he shook off again.
1-2. 2-2.
You know, and a lot of times the catcher will give in because he knows he won't get that same sort of conviction from a pitcher.
And then the pitch he threw was hit for a home run. So 4 shakeoffs.
No, a lot of times they do that to confuse the hitter too. When you get 2 strikes on the hitter knows, well, how many pitches do you have? You're shaking off, and usually sometimes they go all the way around back to where they started. It's just to try and confuse hitters.
The 2-2. Yankees with 3 hits and the Orioles with 2. And a 3-2 count on Tejada. Tejada is 0 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, Vasquez has to shake that off and go from here.
This will be his 80th pitch of the night with 2 outs in the 6th. So great pitch count situation for him. 3-2. Driven deep to center field. Granderson back. He's still back. He's on the track, and he makes the play for the final out of the 6th. Well, Vasquez finally makes a mistake. Missed his location on this one. And Corey Patterson deposits it into the second deck. We go to the bottom of the 6th, a 1-1 game. Of the sixth inning here at the stadium. Pair of home runs, the only scoring, Granderson and Patterson. And now Alex Rodriguez against Mattis. Rodriguez last time up just missed. Just a hair off and hit a high fly ball to left field. He's 0 for 2. Previous at bat, grounded to short. That one's driven to right center field, giving chase. Adam Jones on the run, dives, he can't make the play, and it's going to go to the wall. And Rodriguez leads off with a double.
Kind of reminiscent of the hits of yesterday when he hit the ball to the opposite field and kind of fights this one off. But he's got enough power, he can force it into the gap in right center. And Adam Jones must know that Markakis has his back, because once he leaves his feet, he takes himself out of the play. And it's a good thing he's got a fairly speedy right fielder. There's their IOTV super shot, as Markakis is going to be the one to run it down.
So now the Yankees have a runner in scoring position, and their hottest hitter is up, Robinson Cano. Cano 1 for 2. This year, Cano hitting .407 against the Orioles. That one's fouled away. 365 overall. He's hitting everybody.
Yeah, he is.
Started off scaldingly hot in April. Then at the beginning of May took a little bit of a dip, which is normal. People don't hit 400. And then toward the end of May really picked it up again, and he's on a 15-game hitting streak after a single in the fourth. Line drive, base hit to left field. Alex Rodriguez had to hold up to see if it got through. And the Yankees are set up. Runners on the corners and nobody out.
As Michael said, he's hitting everybody and everything. Using the whole field. This time, going through the hole between short and third. And another multi-hit game, as Alex had to make sure that the ball got through. And he advances 90 feet. But as Michael said, the Yankees are set up with runners at first and third and nobody out.
So for Cano, his 7th straight multi-hit game.
Man.
And there's Marcus Timms.
That is scorching.
How about this, Kenny? He is 17 for his last 29. And even better, 14 for his last 20. So that's 700. And there's going to be a conference on the mound.
That is Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach. Remember, he's got a young pitcher out there, 23 years old. And the Oriole bullpen is getting up, starting to heat up. And this is where the problems usually start for the Orioles when they go to the bullpen.
Well, especially in relief of Mattis. The Oriole bullpen, when they come in for Mattis, they have a 7.24 ERA.
Yeah, they've had a lot of problems.
David Hernandez, 7 pitchers in the bullpen, 4 righties. Pitch outside.
They've had a lot of injuries in the bullpen as well. Mike Gonzalez was signed as a closer, 2-year deal. Blew 2 saves and then went on the disabled list.
Did not give in on 2-0.
Yeah, Jim Johnson's on the DL. Alfredo Simon is on the DL. And Koji Uehara is on the DL. So 4 pitchers, relievers on the disabled list.
Popped up. Just what Mattis needs. Wieters makes the play. Had to push Timms out of the way in order to track that ball. So now Mattis is a double play away from getting out of it.
This is straight up to Silo. That was actually a fair ball when he caught it. Here's another look.
You know what else, Kenny? He did not throw his match far enough away. And he could easily have tripped over it right there.
Wrong direction. You're right, Michael.
And also you saw him push Timms out of the way. So here's Cervelli, who's been great this year with runners in scoring position. He is 6 for 7 at getting the runner in from third with less than 2 outs.
If you can do that at a 70% clip, you're pretty good.
5:38 with runners in scoring position. Strike. Nips the inside corner, 1-1. Bottom of the 6th. And the pitch. Now the Yankees have been a much better team offensively at home. I mean, much better than on the road. At home, they hit .317 and they averaged 6.8 runs per game on the road. They're a .261 team, and they scored 2 fewer runs per game, 4.8. So they have a comfort level here at the stadium. 15-13 on the road, 16-7 at home.
Well, last year, the Yankees had the best home record in the league, so they took to their new home quite rapidly. But I would expect that those numbers would level off and kind of get closer together as the year goes along.
Runner goes. Popped up. Backing up Lugo, he makes the catch. And Mattis is 1 out away from getting out what looked like a sticky jam.
Well, the reason why Cano went, the Yankees are trying to stay out of the double play. But you can see that Cervelli's out in front. Looked like it was a changeup, and he popped it up. That's not going to get the job done. There goes Cano trying to open up a hole on the right side as Lugo now moves in position to make the catch. Certainly not deep enough for A-Rod to tag and come in from third base.
So here's Granderson. He's given the Yankees their only run with a home run in the 5th. Now 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. And Granderson at the plate. 0-1.
Weeder's giving the sign to the infielders just in case Cano takes off for second with A-Rod at third. The Yankees try and sneak a run here in the 6th inning.
The 0-1. 1-1. On deck is Kevin Russo. 92 pitches for Mattis. Russo 0 for 2 so far tonight. So far this year, Granderson just 4 hits and 27 at bats with runners in scoring position. That's a 148 average. Kranitz came out. So far what he said seemed to have an effect on Mattis in a positive way.
And again, on the sides just in case. And that comes from your advanced scouts because the Yankees have used that play in the past this year.
Runner takes off from first and then A-Rod darts over. Two and with Granderson
up, you've got Tejada well off the bag at third, so he's not really holding A-Rod very closely at third. He can get a big lead.
Runner goes. Strike 3. So they didn't have to make the decision whether or not to throw through. What a performance by Mattis. First and third, nobody out. And he retired the next 3 Yankees. 2 pop-ups and a strikeout looking. Let's take it to the 7th. How you doing, Frank? Good. It's time for another look at tonight's Toyota Text Ball. Once again, the question, among these Hall of Fame Oriole teammates of Ken Singleton, whom did you like the best? You've been texting us at 58772. Here's how you voted. 40% like Cal Ripken Jr. the best. Then Jim Palmer, 38%. Eddie Murray was third, and Brooks Robinson fourth. Kenny's not going to tip his hand, but I don't think that's the way he felt.
You know, I got feelings for all those guys, to be honest with you. When I first joined the team, I walked in the door at spring training, and the first guy to greet me was Brooks Robinson, and he welcomed me to the team. And he said, one thing he said was, on this team, you don't have to do it all yourself. And when I looked in the locker room and I saw the collection of players, he was right. Some great players in that locker room, in the club.
Verizon Wireless scoreboard 1-1. Now that means so much, I would think, having a great player like that come in and make the entree better for everybody else.
And to tell you the truth, Brooks Robinson is my mom's second favorite player.
Who's the first? Now, that was always a favorite player of hers until you...
Well, after I joined the team.
Right, okay. The 2-1. Grounded up the middle, a base hit for Markakis, his first of the night. Damaso Marte begins to throw. I don't quite understand why when Vasquez is just at 84 pitches and has pitched very well.
You get to this point in the lineup, you got Luke Scott, who's next, and you got his Torres. And Wieters and his Torres switch hitters.
Strike. Crowd of 43,059 here in the Bronx. Late arriving. Some traffic issues on the George Washington Bridge, but they filled up the park pretty nicely. The 0-1. 1-1.
One time, YANKEES was more of a stolen base threat. He's only gotten 1 steal so far this year, been caught once, but the Orioles, so certainly their stolen base totals are down with the absence of Brian Roberts. I mean, he's the primary base stealer on the team, and I think he set the tone and encouraged the other guys to follow him in that suit. But YANKEES, when years passed, certainly was a threat to go, but not so much the last couple of years.
Count 2-1. Now Robertson, who's been bothered by a sore lower back, he joins Marte. Hit sharply to A-Rod. He knocks it down. He'll get the force at second. No throw to first.
And that ball was scalded off the bat of Wigginton. And if A-Rod comes up with it cleanly, it's an easy double play. But, man, that was a rocket. And he's not happy with himself that he didn't catch it cleanly. But they do get the lead runner. Man, it's boom. The hot corner. Looked like it hit him in the chest. And they do get the four. Yep. Recovers, recycles, and throws the ball to second.
Elicits a wow. Here's Luke Scott. Count 1-0.
You think back years ago when A-Rod first came to the Yankees, the thought was, can he play third base? Can he make the adjustment? You got 2 third basemen tonight in this game that were former shortstops. And I'm not so sure if Miguel Tejada won a Gold Glove. I know he was an MVP with the Oakland A's as a shortstop.
I think sometimes it's overlooked, Kenny. What a nice transition Alex has made.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's your former teammate Brooks Robinson, but he's a very, very proficient third baseman.
Yeah, Tejada did not win a Gold Glove as a shortstop, but
A-Rod did.
A-Rod did.
Several. I mean, you see guys make position changes and they become a detriment to their team. I don't think he's been that to the Yankees at all. He's played a credible third base. And we're not talking about just any shortstop making any kind of move. An all-time great.
No, it's the only way he was going to play on the Yankees if he was willing to do so.
Yep. They turned him loose and he popped it up. So Dave Tremblay trying to catch lightning in a bottle there and hoping that one swing by Luke Scott would give him a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, he must have been reading the Home Depot's hitter scouting report. Scott's been hot lately, pitches right there for him, and he pops it out of play. Yeah, he's hit 6 home runs his last 17 games. Dave Tremblay. Man. Under a lot of pressure.
Popped up behind the plate. Cervelli runs out of room.
Now, twice he's gotten in on the hands of Luke Scott. Let's see what he has for him on a 3-2 pitch. Targets in. He gets it in there. Scott can get the arms extended. You can see that the pitch was down on the bat, and he's a little late as well. Now they're going to talk over the 3-2 pitch. This is a critical time of the game. Getting to the latter stages. Both these starters might be getting a little tired now. One mistake might mean the ball game.
Let's see if they send Wigginton. Stay out of the double play, but that could lead to a double play if Scott swings and misses. 3-2, they don't send him, and that one is rocketed down the right field line. That's a base hit into the corner. Playing it out there is Swisher. Wigginton rounds third. He's going to hold right there. Luke Scott picks up a double. So runners on second and third with one out.
Well, the third time he tried to pass him with a fastball, Luke Scott was ready for it. Third time he recognized a little bit better. The phone looks like it's going to ring. Mike Harkey on the other end, bullpen coach. And that ball is on the inner third of the plate, and he just pulls it down the right field line. Remember, he's been a hot hitter. He's now hit 14 of his last 18 games.
And you got the switch hitting Wieters up right now, batting from the left side. You have first base open, and you have Adam Jones on deck. I wonder if the discussion is about maybe intentionally walking Wieters.
It's a possibility. Jones is tough to double up, though. He's got excellent speed.
Well, the Yankees certainly had their opportunity, and you can see Joe wants them walked. They had first and third, nobody out in the sixth, and they did not get a run, and now they might pay for that. So it looks as if they will walk Wieters and deal with Adam Jones. Nope, now Cervelli goes into the crowd. Now he gets up. Tony Pena going through all the statistical permutations. Island wants to check to see if everybody is ready.
So far tonight, Jones, who's coming up, has had a bloop single and struck out.
All right, so that's ball four. Now Girardi could bring in Robertson to face Jones, or he could stay with Vasquez. Looks like he's going to stay with Vasquez.
I think he's going to give him an opportunity to get out of his own jam here, at least one.
Coasting along until the home run by Patterson in the sixth. Then Markakis singled to center. A hot shot to third by Wigginton that went off the chest of A-Rod. They only got a force. A double by Luke Scott, moving Wigginton to third. There's Scott at second, then Matt Wieters with the intentional walk. So they pass the baton to Adam Jones. Jones dunked a single to right center in the third and struck out in the fifth. 1-1 game, top of the seventh. Foul back. Not great with the bases loaded. 8 for 32, 250. And Kenny, you've always taught me you get better with the bases loaded when you realize the pressure's on the pitcher, not on you.
Yeah. Usually the young hitters, when they come up there in these situations, they feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. And the whole idea is you got to increase your plate discipline and relax.
Fastball has lost a little bit of velocity in the last inning or so, from 90 to 87, 88. 60-40 strike to balls. Remember, 4 of the balls are intentional, so he's really thrown 96 pitches. The 1-1. There's a strike. Gets it to 90.
And Jones didn't think that was a strike. Thought it was a little low. There might be some barking from the Oriole dugout. We'll take a look. Ooh. Borderline at best. Yeah, but you can see Dave Trumbull not happy with that.
1-2. He struck him out. 2 away. Let's see how they did it. Pitch by pitch, brought to you by Suzuki Kizashi.
Well, Jones not happy back to the dugout in a big situation. Here's the pitch by pitch. Started with a breaking ball. He fouled it off. Fastball, a little low for a ball. That was a big difference. 1 and 2's a count, and he swung and missed strike 3. And here's a look. The center field camera doesn't actually tell you how quickly the ball is coming to home plate. And we're going to take a look from a different angle at that last pitch that struck him out.
Well, now he has to get Lugo with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Lugo 0 for 2. Double play and a strikeout. Vasquez sets, and the pitch. Hit sharply to Jeter. So Vasquez works into and out of trouble. He's got to feel pretty good about that. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and the bases are left loaded. A big spot for Javier Vasquez, and he comes through at the end of 6.5 time for the 7th inning stretch. At the stadium, the Yankees and the Orioles tied at 1, but we stay right here at Honor America in the Bronx.
As we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
So the Yankees and their fans keeping an eye on that game, and you will as well. And as you said, on the post-game show, we'll get the highlights, everything going on around the big leagues. So we look forward to that. Right now, the Yankees wiggle out of trouble in the top of the 7th, and Kevin Russo leads off here in the bottom of the 7th, and a breaking ball backdoor strike, 0-1.
Good pitching from Javier Vasquez to get out of a jam. A couple of key outs here, striking out Adam Jones. And then getting Lugo on a sharp ground ball for a force out. You see the shot from center field now. You see the strikeouts, but sometimes you don't really get the full effect of how fast the ball is going towards home plate. We're going to try and show you something from last inning.
Count 2-2 to Russo.
You can see change up, different speeds. 99 pitches now for Mattis, and the Oriole bullpen is busy.
Count 3-2.
Let's get rooting for some runs.
Java Chamberlain is warming. And there's strike 3 to Russo.
Javi Vasquez getting out of a jam. And one of the key hitters of this game was Adam Jones, bases loaded. And here's the pitch from center field. That's a swing and a miss. You can follow it all the way to home plate, but here's the side angle view from the Yankee dugout. This is how fast this ball is really. This gives you a better idea how quickly that ball is getting to home plate. There it is. You swing and miss. You can hardly track the ball to home plate from that angle, but from the center field camera, you can see it all the way. And that's what hitters have to deal with.
Here's Jeter. Ground ball through. Jeterian swing. And a second base hit of the night. So he's been on base 3 times if you include the walk. 2 for 3 with a walk.
Derek now with a 9-game hitting streak. He had gotten that done earlier in the game, but he's on one of these streaks now, Michael, where he's getting 2, maybe 3 hits a game. That's what I call a real hitting streak.
That'll bring up Swisher. Swisher is 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded to short, fly ball to left, grounded to third. Remember, Juan Miranda is on deck, not Mark Teixeira, who had to leave the game earlier with an injured foot. He fouled the ball off his foot. And for Jeter, by the way, 6 straight multi-hit games. And he also has a 9-game overall hitting streak. Blocked there by Wieters. Both managers giving their starters a chance at victories.
Sometimes the managers will give you 1, maybe 2 chances to get out of a jam, but very rarely do you get 3, because then you're starting to get a little tired.
Tough times for the Oriole manager. Team's lost 5 in a row and just off to a terrible start. 21 games under 500.
5 in a row and 12 or 15. And that's really going to be a tough situation.
Swisher has not had much success lifetime against Mattis. He's 0 for 12 after his 0 for 3 so far. Count 3-0. Now does Girardi turn loose Swisher, hoping he gets a cookie?
Well, the chances might be pretty good because the left-handed hitter's coming up next.
And he takes and he walks. So that moves Jeter into scoring position. Well, with Miranda coming up, let's take a look at how Mark Teixeira hurt himself in the first inning. A foul ball off his left foot.
And it looked like it's right off the arch of the foot. Then a ground down, and here he is going down to first base trying to there he is heading back to the clubhouse, get some treatment. Hopefully Tex will be okay.
They took x-rays, they were negative. Kranitz goes out and talks things over with Mattis. They're keeping Mattis in because they know how bad the bullpen's been. So even a tiring Mattis is probably better than what they're going to bring in out of the bullpen.
They have David Hernandez warming up in the bullpen now. Hernandez was a former starter. He's moved from the rotation to the bullpen to try and shore up the bullpen somewhat. The Orioles recently recalled Chris Tillman from the minor leagues to join the rotation. And that bumped Hernandez to the bullpen.
Mattis against Miranda. There's a strike. And with the Yankee injuries, there's not much to go to the bench about. You got Gardner, who's also left-handed. You've got Ramiro Pena, a switch hitter. And you got Chad Moeller, not going to use their second catcher. So Miranda is what they're going to go with. So Wieters wants to get it straight with a runner on second, a veteran, and Derek Jeter. They want to make sure that they're not getting their signs picked up. I guess he's somewhat perplexed. Slow roller, back to Mattis. Then one out, they make it at first as the runners move up.
Yeah, this might not be a good thing because I don't think A-Rod's going to get a chance here. Although we got Cano coming up.
That's a tough call. All right, let's pick our poison here.
What are we going to do?
Do we want to pitch to A-Rod or do we want to pitch to Cano?
Better hurry, he's stepping in.
You know what? As clutch as A-Rod is, Kenny, of late, I really think that I would pitch to A-Rod.
Oh, they're taking him out of the game.
And they are going to call him the righty, and they'll pitch to A-Rod. Now, A-Rod can destroy you, and over the stretch of a career, obviously he's the greater player. But Robinson Cano, no one's hotter than him right now. So they're going to go with Hernandez, and A-Rod against Hernandez, 1 for 8. Come on back to see how it turns out. Music. For more information, all you have to do is log on to NYYsteak.com, or you can call 646-977-8325. So Dave Tremblay now has to make the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T Rethink Possible. And Kenny, all lineups are interconnected. It's so important to have protection. You have a great player like A-Rod, and the fact that Cano is following him makes it such a tough decision. Do I go with A-Rod or do I go with Cano? They decide to go with the righty against A-Rod rather than walk A-Rod and keep the lefty Madison to face Cano.
Well, they've seen Cano with a couple hits tonight, but they've also seen A-Rod with a double. So this could be where the game's on the line. A hit here would make Mattis a probable loser.
Grounded deep to third. The long throw in the dirt. and the ball is dropped. Jeter scores. Here comes Swisher. He'll score. And the Yankees lead 3-1. Well, Midas can't be too pleased. And David Hernandez got what he needed, a ground ball at third. But the Yankees lead now 3-1.
Now this looks like it's going to be an error on the third baseman, Tejada. He does have a strong arm. Deep from third, and Wigginton could not handle it. Ball will skip. It looked like it hit the grass and not the dirt, which might make it skip even more so. Off the toe of his glove, A-Rod is safe, and 2 runs will score. It's an error on the third baseman.
And, of course, no RBI. Here's Cano. 1-0. Well, bad teams find ways to lose. And the Orioles are a bad team. And the manager made the right move there, it turns out. But it wasn't executed. Driven out to left center field. Adam Jones retires Cano, and that'll do it. But the Yankees get 2 unearned runs on 1 hit, 1 gigantic error, 1 man left on base. We go to the 8th, 3-1 Yanks. Yankee Stadium, you've heard by now, so come out to the stadium on Saturday, June 5th, for the Stadium Slugfest when the undefeated WBA Super Welterweight Champion Yuri Foreman defends his title against 3-time world champion Miguel Cotto. Get your tickets today at Yankees.com/boxing to see the history of boxing continue at Yankee Stadium. Well, there's a shot of the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar situated in center field in Yankee Stadium. The Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. Mohegan Sun, a world at play. And a new pitcher for the Yankees. Vasquez goes 7, allows 1 run, and they turn it over to Jabba Chamberlain, who will try to bounce back from a very rough outing against the Cleveland Indians. His numbers not Jabba-like at 5.82. So he will face Cesar Estouras. The pitch is a strike.
Well, Joe Girardi was going to throw him back up on that horse. Speaking of Jabba Chamberlain, and there is Brian Maddox. Those 2 runs were charged at him, even though they were unearned, and he might be the losing pitcher tonight after coming out of the game.
That's the difference between what the 2 managers did. Joe Girardi, you see Brett Gardner takes over and left, allowed Vasquez to work out of his 7th inning jam. And Dave Tremblay decided to go with his bullpen to work out of the jam. Now, it turned out to be the right move because A-Rod did ground out, but they couldn't make the play.
You know, that might be the difference is Vasquez is more of a veteran. Mattis is his rookie season.
Now, as for Tejada, he was charged with 5 errors over his first 16 games at third base this year, but he had made only 1 error in 31 games at third base since then, and none in his last 17 games, and he just bounced that throw. And his arm has never been his problem. He has a great arm. The 1-2. Driven out to center field. Granderson lopes back. 1 out. Those are the numbers on Mattis. 6 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, just 1 earned through 108 pitches, walked 3, struck out 5. But right now, he's heading toward an 0-6 slide in his last 8 games. Tremblay trying to rally his team. Patterson, the only damage against Vasquez, that home run.
Javi Vasquez went 7, and we said that he now becomes the 27th starting pitcher in 52 games against Baltimore to go at least 7 innings.
High fly ball, center field. Granderson for the second out. Tonight after the postgame, don't miss Yankees on Deck, presented by Topps Attacks, as Joe Girardi takes you through a day at spring training. And this Sunday, catch an all-new episode as we go backstage at a Taylor Swift concert. It's the Emmy-winning Yankees on Deck tonight after the postgame, and all-new Sunday at noon, only on Yes. Well, Joe's looking for a bounce back from Jabba Chamberlain. So far, 2 fly balls to Granderson. Now, Jabba's made 13 previous appearances to this. 10 of them have been scoreless. But in the 3 that weren't, he's allowed at least 3 runs in each. So he's trying to add another scoreless outing right here. Shattered bat, ground ball to Miranda. He'll flip to Jabba, and an easy 1-2-3 inning. So the Orioles go down in order, and that bat will never be used again. So a nice bounce back by Jabba as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees lead 3-1. David Hernandez still in there as we go to the bottom of the 8th, and he will deal to Marcus Timms. Pitches inside, 1-0. 3-6-0, 1-4, and that error is big. That's the difference in the game. Breaking ball strike. Timms was 0 for 3 against Mattis. Now, Mattis, unless the Orioles rally and not to do it against Mariano Rivera, he's in danger of falling to 0-3 in 3 starts against the Yankees this year. But he would have lowered his ERA to 2.41 against them.
You know, in his previous 2 starts, we mentioned he pitched fairly well, but A.J. Burnett was just unbelievable in 15 and the 3rd innings. He didn't give up an earned run in the 2 starts previous against Mattis.
Swing and a miss. Well, tonight and throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're asking you to vote along with us for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Here are your candidates. Number 1, Javi Vasquez. Number 2, Curtis Granderson. Number 3, Derek Jeter. And number 4, Brian Mattis. You can vote now and you can make your voice heard, so you know that standard text messaging rates apply in the voting. Cervelli swings and misses. Hernandez, you can see why you'd want him to start, but they haven't been able to keep it together. 95 miles an hour is a pretty good breaking ball, but didn't pitch that well as a starter. And a strike.
I think, in a way, what happened with Hernandez, you were right. He didn't pitch all that well as a starter, but he's got good stuff. And Chris Tillman, who the Orioles thought a lot of, but didn't make the club out of spring training, was pitching pretty well in the minors. So they bring Tillman up, and in order to bolster the bullpen, they send Hernandez, a pretty hard thrower with decent stuff, to try and bolster the bullpen, which had been, first of all, decimated by injuries, and second of all, not performing very well.
Lefty Mark Hendrickson as Cervelli goes down looking. So Cervelli is 0 for 3 tonight. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Fios TV, Internet, and Phone. This is Beyond Cable. This is Fios. Brad Bergeson goes for the Orioles, 3-3, 5.96. Phil Hughes trying to match Andy Pettit with 7 wins. He's 6-1, 2.70. Coverage will begin at 6 with the batting practice show 6:30 pregame, 7:07 will be first pitch right here on Yes. Pitch to Granderson is low, 1-0. There's Phil. Bounce back from a rough outing against the Mets, pick up a win his last time out. The 1-0. 2-0. High fly ball, center field. Adam Jones puts it away as Hernandez works a 1-2-3 inning. Last chance for the Orioles. They'll have to do it against Mariano Rivera, Markakis, Wigginton, and Scott. By J&R Music and Computer World, and by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. Well, come home to Yankee Stadium in 2010 to see the 27-time world champion New York Yankees in action. On Friday, June 11th, the Yankees take on the Astros, and you know what? It's Mariano Rivera figurine night. The first 18,000 fans 21 and older are going to receive a Mariano Rivera figurine, courtesy of Sports Authority. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window. Yankees clubhouse shops or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. From the figurine to the real thing, Kenny. Yankees bring in Mariano to try to close this out.
And he has more saves against the Baltimore Orioles than any other team. 61 in his career. The Rays are second with 54. So Mariano, with the good numbers so far this season, 13 strikeouts in 16 and a third innings.
So he studies the baseball, and now he's ready to roll. Markakis, Wigginton, and Scott. And Mariano has not allowed a hit over his last 3 appearances. 3-6-0, leading 1-4-1. First game of this 3-game set. And the 5th game of this 7-game homestand. Pitch inside, 1-0. Markakis 1 for 3 against Vasquez. So if Mo can nail this down, Vasquez's record would go to 4-5. Two cutters, too low, and the count 2-0. And the pitch. There's a strike. Right in on the hands and a defensive swing. 1 away.
It's kind of like a buzzsaw, wasn't it? The cutter just running in on Nick Markakis. The target is in. He starts for it. Well, that is an awkward swing. We've seen enough of them from left-handed hitters against Mariano, but that is one of the most awkward I have ever seen.
Kenny, I know you always watch the games when you're not doing them. Mariano made a play against the Indians. That was one of the greatest athletic plays you will ever see. It was the last play of the game.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, my goodness. It was off the charts. Even his teammates were marveling at the play.
I heard about it where the bat was coming out.
Yes.
Yeah.
For him to keep his bearings, to avoid the bat and still catch the ball. The 1-0. And I was asking him about it, and he said, was that good? I said, yeah. He goes, you couldn't do it? I said, no, I couldn't do it. Count 2-1.
You know, you mentioned me watching all the games. When sometimes my wife has different ideas about what I should be doing.
The 2-1. Fouled away. Hey, after the final out of this game with the Birds, join Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, and Kimberly Jones for the W.B. Mason postgame. You can get Joe Girardi's initial thoughts from the clubhouse, plus highlights, analysis, and player interviews. It's all coming up on the W.B. Mason postgame, only on Yes. That one is tapped slowly out toward first base. Miranda will field, and he's going to chase Wigginton, and he's all right. You don't want to be tagged? I'll step on the bag. 2 away.
A little levity with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Off the end of the bat, an awkward swing, maybe looking for a pitch in, and nope. Refused to be tagged. All right. I'll do it the easy way and step on the bag.
Maybe he's like that guy Howie Mandel doesn't like being touched.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Germaphobe. Here's Luke Scott. And the count 1-0. And the pitch. Check swing. We made you wait long enough, Kenny. Here's that play.
Wow!
That's what I thought.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, every angle is just more incredible than the next. It's one of the great plays athletically you'll ever see.
You're right. I don't think you could do that.
No? Oh, I know I couldn't. Count 2-1. I don't think there's many major leaguers that can make that play.
What dexterity.
Ripped down the right field line, foul. Now, Kenny, I think that a lot of pitchers would get out of the way of the bat.
Yeah.
But they'd give up on the ball.
Forget it. Let
but
somebody
his
else
feet
get it.
were in the air, and he kept looking at the ball so he could be knocking it down. Well, this outing so far has been a bit more pedestrian. Crowd of 43,059, many of them on their feet. The 2-2 stays alive. You want one more look, Kenny?
Yeah,
one more?
One more wow.
One more. Watch this.
Okay.
This is in yes mode.
Yeah, it's mode.
Unbelievable. And then he got the out at first, of course. Most of the crowd standing. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the game's still alive as Scott punches it to left field. Scott's second hit of the night.
Well, we told you Scott's been their hottest hitter of late. He gets one up out of the plate, just slashes it into left field for a base hit to keep things moving along.
Here's Matt Wieters. 0 for 2 and an intentional walk. Count 0-1. Wieters has faced Mo once and was retired, so 0 for 1. They are not holding Luke Scott at first. They're guarding against a base hit, especially one down the line, which would move the tying run into scoring position. 0-2. And again, the crowd gets up. Just missed. How close was it? Pretty close.
Just maybe a little bit low.
And the 1-2. This should do it. Ground ball to Jeter. He goes the short way, and the Yankees win 3-1. The Yankees improved to 17-7 at home this season. Big home by Curtis Granderson, big home run. And the other 2 runs scored on an error, a throwing error, on a ground ball by Alex Rodriguez. The bullpen did a great job. Java Chamberlain 1-2-3. Mariano Rivera gave up a hit, but worked a scoreless 9th inning. And Javier Vasquez gets the win in this 3-1 victory. You have to stick around for the post-game show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. So Joe Girardi's team so far 4-1 on this homestand. They continue their great play here in the Bronx. And they've got 2 more against the Orioles, 1 more tomorrow night, and then a Thursday matinee before heading off to Toronto. As we mentioned, the only earned run the Yankees scored was off the bat of Curtis Granderson. And Kimberly Jones is standing with the Yankees center fielder right now. Kim?
It was indeed, Michael, a home run. That was your first hit against Brian Mattis. What were you looking for there, Curtis?
It was tough. It was 3-2 right there, just trying to go ahead and battle and put the ball in play, and that was the main thing. The ball ended up happening to get out of the ballpark somehow.
Do you feel good about the way you've come back Friday from the DL and also hitting lefty as well?
I feel okay. I wouldn't necessarily say good yet. Everything's still trying to work itself out. I think the ball is getting rolling to where we want it to be, but it's exactly where we need it to be. We got to continue to work on things. Had 2 strikeouts, one with the runners in scoring position. Definitely a tough situation there. Want to get runners in there. So different things we got to continue to work on.
When you say still progressing, is that just getting the wind and the game shape back and the playing back, not the groin though, right?
Yeah, the groin actually feels really good. That's really the least of all my worries right now. It's more just the playing, going out there 9 innings, long 9 innings, 3 hours, 4 hours, tough pitchers trying to get you out, no one just trying to work and go ahead and let you get back into the game. All those different things are going to take time.
Just one more before I let you go. Michael and Kenny were talking about how you love that Kevin Long's a lefty. He throws batting practice to you. How much does that help?
It's a big thing. You don't have too many guys that can do it and do it well and do it often. That's what Kevin Long's able to do. So we can call on him pretty much every day to throw BP. And I can't ask for CC and Andy to go ahead and throw to me every day, which would be great. But this is a really good substitute for me.
I guess you could ask. I don't know what they'd say, though.
You never know. I might ask him. I'll see what's happening.
Curtis, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Michael, back to you and Kenny.
Thank you, Kimberly, and thank you, Curtis. So Curtis Granderson with his 3rd homer of the year, his first one against a left-hander. Last year he had 30 home runs, and only 2 of them were against left-handed pitchers. So a lot to smile